From the East Side Center, or rather, not the East Side Center, we're at ICC. Already messed up here, but glad you're with us here on the Clutch Sports Media Peoria Sunday Morning League game of the week between the Movesmart Mariners and the Brienzo's Orioles. Are already getting underway at a brief technical malfunction that we were able to hopefully fix before the broadcast, but we're all set and ready to go for our final regular season PSML game of the week. I'm Jonathan Michael here alongside Josh Messenger in the booth. Josh, both these teams, not the season they wanted, but an opportunity to maybe end on a high note as Brienzo's leadoff hitter Mario Garcia lines one down the right field. This is going to be extra bases early in the game. He's going to third, and it looks like he should be in there standing up. So before I can even catch a breath, Mario Garcia lines a triple to right field, and the Orioles are in business.
And that's going to be his first triple of the entire season. So off to a good start for the Orioles, John.
For sure. Again, the Orioles coming to the game. They're at the bottom of the Peoria Sunday Morning League, but they are an expansion team in their first year. Movesmart, they've been around a couple of years, rebranded a couple times. And that one hit Garrett, it appeared. So it'll be early runners on first and third for the Orioles' best batter in Jack Moylan.
Moylan has the best batting average on the team coming out of Peoria High School, so the right man to put up at the plate for the Orioles.
This one grounded in between the third baseman and the shortstop. Orioles are going to put up one early on. So a triple hit by a pitch and a single. And Brienzo is starting off the game with some good mojo against Movesmart starting pitcher Matthew Montoya.
And only 6 pitches, too. That's pretty impressive for the Orioles, who have struggled this season. But as we know, once you start a game hot, anything can happen. So
certainly it feels good to get out to the early advantage. Now up for the Orioles, it's Drew Brown. Plays a little bit of infield and outfield from Monmouth. Heading into his junior year at Monmouth College. And looks at the ball low. And we don't have a scoreboard right now at the moment. As we'll try and fix our camera here. It's been a little bit of an afternoon of adversity here for the Clutch Sports Media team. Trying to get a couple of things figured out that should work. But there we go. That one shot back up the middle. This one could be another single. It is. This one might score a run. Center fielder drops it. And there's going to be runners on the corners again for Brienzo's, who have a 2-0 advantage. Runners on the corners, and there still hasn't been the first out recorded.
And that was a little bit of a tough play for the Mariners' defense. Stramp at second base almost got that ball, just had to lean out a little bit further to get it. And then obviously Torres in center field bobbled it a little bit on the throw. 2-0 early.
And Brown tries to steal second. He's safe. Not much of a throw there, so this will bring up Jacob Campbell. Or rather, this will bring up Jake Baker. At third base, he comes into this one batting 174. With 6 RBIs, but a big chance to add on to that here. Brienzo's up 2-0 early. And Montoya gets the strikeout, so that's a very important first out for the Mariners. Needed something to kind of go their way early on. Now that'll bring up Jacob Campbell. There's a late addition to the lineup for Brienzo's after Quentin McAllister was substituted out. One down, runners on second and third for the Orioles. Campbell pops this one up, teetering on the edge. Will it be in play or not? Bangs on top of the Orioles dugout, so that'll make it strike one of the at-bat.
And the runners on second and third. Campbell obviously in a very good position here. Only one out, so doesn't need to force anything. Sack fly or a ground out will do, as long as he gets that runner from third home and maybe have a shot at getting second home as well.
Nice pitch there from Montoya. Makes it strike 2 on Campbell. So the Mariners pitcher starting to settle in here a little bit after getting hit hard early. And swing and a miss. That will be out number 2 for Movesmart. So Brienzo's what looked like was going to be maybe a big inning for them early on. They still got 2 runs, but they're now down to their last chance. And Ian Reed, their right fielder, off-speed pitch from Montoya, is inside for a ball.
Yeah, that was a situation where you just need to follow that old baseball adage, which is get the ball in play and good things will happen. Now you need the right kind of ball in play if the Brienzo's Orioles want something to happen.
It's a great point. It doesn't really matter where it's hit. With runners on second and third, both of them are probably going to be running, whether it's on the ground or in the air. Now with 2 outs, they're going to be running regardless. Reed swing and a miss. Comes into this one. Just 4 plate appearances on the year, or 4 at-bats, I should say. 5 plate appearances. He's had 1 walk and 3 strikeouts. Still looking for that first hit. That one bounces up on the Mariners catcher, Garcia. Almost lost it momentarily, but able to hold Moylan over at third. Swing and a miss, and Montoya, after giving up a triple and 2 singles and a hit batsman, strikes out the side for the Movesmart Mariners, but Brienzo's puts up 2 runs here in the top of the first on the Sunday Morning League Game of the Week here on Clutch Sports Media. And while we have a break, we want to thank the official sports drink of the Sunday Morning League and sponsor of this broadcast, Body Armor, for a great, refreshing sports drink that tastes good before, during, and after the game. Comes in a variety of flavors. Definitely want to choose Body Armor. And also by Brienzo's Wood-Fired Pizza. I want to thank them for their support of the Orioles. Brienzo's got some pretty good pizza up there in Peoria Heights. Grab a drink, some pizza as well. And also by the Movesmart Group, sponsors of the Movesmart Mariners. Next time that you need any real estate or anything in that area, check out the Movesmart Realty Group. So we move on here into the bottom of the first inning. Again, we have a scoreboard coming to you soon on your screen, but it's Brienzo's 2, Movesmart 1, or Movesmart 0, excuse me. Not sure where the 1 came from, Josh. This heat is getting to me. It's pretty hot out.
It's okay. I do want to go back and give a quick shout-out to Alex Garcia for corralling the catcher, for Movesmart for corralling that errant pitch a minute ago, because had he not done such a good job of getting that, then Jack Moylan over on third would have almost certainly scored, and it would be 3-0. So those runs can matter, even though we're very early, only half an inning down, but something worth going back to and pointing out.
Certainly, and again, the regular season is drawing to a close. The final regular season games will be taking place tomorrow. Lots of action at the end of the season. Some rain out, some air quality cancellations. Really screwed up the schedule a lot, but they're able to get most of, if not all, the games played eventually. Movesmart right now, they're in 7th place in the 8-team Peoria Sunday Morning League, the oldest amateur baseball league in America. And now Movesmart trying to maybe draw a little bit closer to the Coles Diamond Gallery Royals. They need a lot to go right to get 6th in the Peoria Sunday Morning League playoffs. Mariners are 6-15. The Royals are 9-12. Movesmart would have to win, I believe, this game and then a game tomorrow. And Coles would have to lose their remaining 3 games of the regular season. So still possible for the Mariners, but the good thing about the playoffs, at least now with the Sunday Morning League, is everyone makes it. So if you get hot at the right time,
As we saw last year.
indeed, a couple teams that, didn't finish near the top made some deep runs in the playoffs. The Coles Diamond Gallery Royals were one of them. They finished in the Final Four after finishing near the bottom of the league. So just maybe get a good win or two, and all of a sudden you see yourself, playing with a chance to get into the championship series. As Movesmart will get their first cracks at it, it'll be Bo Honeycutt to lead things off. He's the Mariners' third baseman, donning pretty beautiful blue and yellow jerseys, I gotta say. That one fouled straight back into the net. Unsurprisingly, these Mariners jerseys look almost exactly like the old Seattle Mariners jerseys from back in the 70s and 80s.
It's a bit of an interesting theme across the Sunday morning league that I really like, is each team kind of picking a real MLB team to kind of pay homage to in their jerseys and whatnot.
Certainly, and, not only are these, influenced by MLB teams, but a lot of them actually are much like the designs of throwback uniforms. The Poor Bros Jacks, their uniforms look like a throwback for your favorite team, Josh, the Philadelphia Phillies.
Absolutely.
The Miller Lite Falcons, they look a little bit like the old Brewers jerseys. All the Brewers have had some uniform changes in the last couple years, kind of gone back to that old look. As a swing and a miss, and Brienzo's pitcher Jaden Rivera gets the first strikeout and the first out of the game for the Orioles. That will bring up Julio Torres, the outfielder and utility player. He's having a pretty good season, pretty speedy player.
Yeah, he's got 8 RBIs on the season, which leads the team. 20 hits as well, and that's also the best on this club.
Big looping off-speed pitch there. The hat came off for Jaden Rivera. He'll put it back on. Hot, humid evening here at Illinois Central College, one of the 4 venues for the PSML, and we have another headpiece falling off, this time for Torres. So, in terms of keeping your headpiece on, it's a 1-1 count. Tie game in that regard, but Brienzo's leading 2-0 here in the bottom of the first. That one high and away for ball 2.
And no hats came off that time, most importantly.
Indeed. We haven't said the phrase, hold on to your hats yet, but if we did, they could assume they weren't listening. That one fouled back. Should be a 2-2 count. And Rivera waits, fires, and that one pops straight up. And will it get out? Doesn't matter. Goes off the end pole of the netting right beyond the dugout. Made a interesting sound.
Some really precise hitting right there. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's
I gotta say.
That's some good target practice, I gotta say. It's one thing I've never seen before. That one shot foul, and Torres staying alive.
Yeah, Movesmart's in an interesting position there because obviously you got those 2 runs on the board for the Orioles. The Mariners, you don't obviously have to get anything rolling right here, but it's certainly a little bit of a morale blow to leave the first inning down. Only the first in a 7-inning game, regardless of what that score is.
That one fouled off again, and this at-bat just won't end.
Best way to put a ball into play is to make contact, and we've certainly been making contact plenty of times over these past couple pitches. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, certainly have. And swung on and missed. Rivera ends up winning the battle over Torres. That was fun at bat to watch, but Orioles have 2 down here in the top of the first as that brings up their number 3 batter, Drew Gillette. As this was actually Torres right here. Again, no numbers on the rosters that we had at the moment. So Torres now batting for Movesmart.
Thanks, we appreciate it. We've had lots of technical problems. We're running behind.
This one hitting the center field. That should be a hit for, now that is Torres, so you can, pardon the confusion, you can add a single his season stats. Runner on first and 2 outs. Now for the Mariners. Now here comes Gillette. Gillette, the cleanup batter, leads the team with 18 walks, only hitting 161 on the year, but has a 469 on base percentage. So he's been fantastic at finding ways to get on base. Doesn't matter whether it's a single or a walk. Pickoff throw back to first, and Torres is safe. And the 1-0 pitch to the Mariners left fielder is low.
I think we should be right. We're back on track.
Here in the bottom of the first, Brienzo's scored 2 in the top of the frame. Runner is going. Throw is in time. The tag, though, is not. And Torres is in safely with a stolen base.
And that's going to be a throw that the catcher wants back because that one was just a little bit left of where it needed to be. There was certainly time to make the out, but just inches make a difference, and that's what we saw right there.
Real nice throw from the Orioles catcher. This one popped up. They'll have a chance to make a play. Moylan trying to find it, lost it. Well, it makes up for it. Some style points, flipping it back to the pitcher, Rivera behind the back. That was a pretty slick move. Doesn't quite get the out. I'm sure he probably wanted that a little bit more. Probably, honestly, wants to get back in the dugout because it is scorching out here, at least in terms of humidity. You can feel it in the air. Not a good day to be a catcher.
Yeah, and this has been the first truly hot week that we've had in Peoria this summer. I mean, it's been warm, obviously, all summer, but we're in the 90s, upper 90s, supposed to tip 100 on Friday, so definitely hydration is going to be a key tonight, and keeping your cool in more ways than one.
Indeed, this one popped up, and Baker looking for it, and can't find it. Can't get there quick enough, rather, and so Gillette still alive after nearly popping out twice. Rivera gets set to pitch and brings it home. A swing and a miss. And despite the single given up to Torres, the Orioles hurler also strikes out the side. So both pitchers pitching well. Rivera just a little bit better. Or rather, Rivera just a bit better, and his team has the lead. We'll switch that around for you on our scoreboard. It's Brienzo's 2, Movesmart 0. And while we're here in between innings, we'll want to thank our great sponsor that makes tonight's broadcast possible. BODYARMOR is the official sports drink of the Peoria Sunday Morning League. You can definitely use BODYARMOR on a night like tonight to feel refreshed and hydrated. Comes in a variety of flavors as well. Definitely next time you're at the grocery store, grab some BODYARMOR. And then also by Brienzo's Woodfire Pizza, located in Peoria Heights. Your great pizza, some occasional live music, great drinks as well. Head on up to Brienzo's. I want to thank them for their support of the Orioles and their inaugural season in the Sunday Morning League. And also by the Movesmart Realty Group. I thank them for sponsoring the Movesmart Mariners. We move on here to the top of the second.
What's interesting to me is that obviously it's a very hot day. We've talked about that. But that means that time of play is going to be a factor here as far as whether teams are wearing down and whatnot. And the first inning for both sides was pretty even time-wise. Both were out for about 10 minutes. Each half inning took. So that'll be an interesting factor to watch because obviously they've been out in the sun for about the same amount of time, but Brienzo's is up.
Exactly. And, sometimes when it's hot, sometimes, depending on the sport, they call hydration breaks. I've seen it called in soccer a couple times. As this is Luke Sander, a Morton High School graduate, batting 3 for 20 on the year with 2 RBIs. Sander batting as a designated hitter, watches one outside. He is now ahead in the count, 3-1. May have the green light on this next pitch from Montoya. Montoya working fairly quickly, fouled on right back into the mitt. Make it a full count. And the 3-2 popped up. That should get out of play. Nearly off the top of the Orioles dugout. A lot of towering fly balls have really gone over there. One's hit the pole, one's at the top of the dugout. We're only in the top of the second inning.
And 2 or 3 more have hit the grass right next to the dugout. So
lots of souvenirs. I know earlier in the game, I saw a dog here, an Australian Shepherd. At least when it looked like an Australian Shepherd. Maybe you'll go chew one of those up. This one popped up to second base. Looking for it was Stramp. He found it eventually and secures it for out number 1. Good to see if you're a Movesmart fan getting that first out because Brienzo's jumped on the Mariners early and often. In case you're just tuning in, Mario Garcia led off the game with a triple down the right field line. Garrett was hit by a pitch, and then Jack Moylan brought in the first run, an RBI single. Drew Brown fouled it up with an RBI single of his own. And that's where the scoring stopped. Then Montoya struck out the side with the runners on second and third. It's a sequence where at the end of this game, if Movesmart can overcome the 2-run deficit, pull this one out, and kind of go back to that first inning and kind of realize that, hey, those 3 strikeouts could have maybe saved us the game. Montoya pitches fouled off by Tim Campbell. And a rare occurrence, but not unheard of in the Sunday Morning League, Josh. Tim Campbell, obviously most managers, a little bit of player managers, and Tim Campbell is the manager of Brienzo's. He is in the lineup today, and he can't hang on to his bat. That one flies back to the backstop. Thankfully, no one's hurt. It's pretty humid out here, so can probably assume that there's maybe some sweat on his hands.
Yeah, late in the season, it's kind of just whoever you got at this point, right?
Yeah.
You got to remember that the Sunday Morning Baseball League is, a lot of these guys have work that they need to go to and whatnot. Other things to commit to is we see a nice strikeout there by Montoya. But at this point, if you got a man, put him in the game.
Exactly. Not much left to lose. I figure why not at this point. Campbell strikes out in a 3-2 pitch, but we'll see if he'll make a second appearance later in the game. Campbell this year was 1 for 1 up to this point, so that'll knock his batting average down 500 points. Back to the top of the lineup. That'll bring up Garcia, who had that triple to start the game. Swing and a miss there. Montoya really finding the zone now. And Garcia calls time. Montoya working quickly. Maybe just wants to go back in the dugout and is maybe ice-cold water bottle or maybe ice-cold body armor maybe beckoning him.
It's a good motivator right there. I'd be pitching fast if I was him too.
A pitch inside to Garcia makes it 3-1. Garcia on the year came into this one batting just 140. And ball 4 there. A little bit of a wild pitch, but Garcia not able to move past first. So 2 outs, then a base runner. Now for Andrew Garrett. Most notable thing about Garrett this year, he's had very good plate discipline. Has 5 walks and only 4 strikeouts throughout the course of the year. That one fouled right back. Sunday Morning League season about a little over 20 games long, although there's going to be a couple small disparities in terms of total games played among teams this year, just in terms of were they able to get all of their games rescheduled. Tin Lizard Titans, I know, was a team that were hit really hard by rain and air quality back in late June. That one is ripped back into the net again. Montoya ahead 0-2.
And that depth of the season, as far as how deep we are, is really makes those 4 strikeouts that Garrett has taken this year all the more impressive. We gotta, to count him out. That's an average of what, a strikeout once every
five or so games.
Right, exactly. Games. That's super impressive.
Garrett, if the numbers prove anything, it's likely that he'll probably put this ball in play, but he's facing a 1-2. Pickoff throw down to first. Garcia back safely. Thought about maybe scooting over to second, but the Mariners' second baseman, Stramp, was able to hop over there and prevent that from happening. 2-2 with 2 outs in the top of the second, with Brienzo's leading by 2. That one popped up right field line. It'll be foul, but not catchable. So we'll do it again. Montoya gets set here, count even at 2. Instead decides to pick off, and it doesn't pay off. That one back to the fence, and Garcia is going to try and advance to third. Movesmart just couldn't quite get there in time, and the speedy Garcia, we saw his wheels in the first inning. He does so again there, so he's sitting on third base for the second time in 2 innings.
Yeah, that's 2 throws that have gotten by the first baseman there. And that's tough if you're the Mariners already down 2-0, and now you have a runner on third, which was easily preventable.
And this one shot back to the pitcher. Montoya underhands it over to first. And despite the throwaway, relatively stress-free third out for Movesmart in the top of the second. We'll move on to the bottom of the second frame. Coming up for Movesmart, it'll be Carruthers, Stramp, and Martinez all due up. But first, I want to thank our sponsors that help make this evening's and all of our Peoria Sunday Morning League Game of the Week broadcast possible. BODYARMOR Sports Drink, the official sports drink of the PSML. And also by Brienzo's Wood-Fired Pizza up in Peoria Heights for great authentic wood-fired pizza and a great atmosphere. You can watch all your local games. Head on over to Brienzo's. Lots of fun things to do up that direction. And also by the Movesmart Group. I want to thank them for their support of the Peoria Sunday Morning League and the Mariners as well. And real quick, while we have a break between innings, I also want to give a shameless plug to a very big announcement that we announced at Clutch Sports Media this week. On Monday, I should say, we launched our new subscription service called CSM Overtime that we'll be diving much more into written content for every high school around the Peoria, Bloomington area for all sports as well. So no matter what sport or what school your favorite athlete plays for, there's probably a good chance that we'll be covering them in one way or another. We'll have feature stories, daily roundups, comprehensive stats from around the area. We've already put lots of content out, football previews. Starting to get that time to start thinking about Friday Night Lights. We're going to have full photo galleries and much, much more on at CSM Overtime. So any high school sports fans out there, if you haven't checked it out already, head to our website, clutchsportsil.com. Learn more and subscribe to CSM Overtime. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And what's worth noting is that all of this content that comes with the subscription is all new. We haven't done much of that in the past, if any.
Exactly.
So all of the stuff is all bonus you haven't seen in the past. And our content that was free and remains free is only going to be better because of this new overtime that we're rolling out. So pretty excited for it.
That's a great point, Josh. Again, our broadcast will remain free to watch. And in fact, we're actually going to be expanding that this fall. So keep an eye out for details regarding that. We're going to have more social media coverage than ever. Our partnership with Too Efficient Media got some real talented guys working with Too Efficient, like Kenny Clifton, Ethan Genders, and more. So we're going to have all the best pictures, videos, highlight clips, you name it. Really just excited for what the year is going to bring. We're back here into the bottom of the second. Called strike. A nice pitch there in the low outside corner from Rivera. Another breaking pitch, the 2-1. Broke just a bit too late, though. That'll make it a 3-1 count. For Movesmart, this is Austin Carithers. He's drawn 12 walks this year to go with 10 runs. So again, his batting average below 200, but still finds a way to get on base. A string is run out to the Movesmart's number 5 batter. This one ripped to left, and it will get past a diving Baker. That's a nice piece of hitting there from Austin Carithers, and that'll make it the Mariners' second hit of the contest. And we'll start out the second inning. So we'll get our camera resituated here.
It's a promising start to the bottom of the second for the Mariners, and that's really what you want to do. Is you want a leadoff single. You want to start getting that momentum, and then you build it throughout the inning. 0 outs. Perfect time to do that. I like what I've seen so far.
Tanner Stramp, the Mariners' second baseman, up now. This one popped straight up into familiar territory on that right side.
Again.
As a young fan goes to retrieve that ball. Stramp having a pretty good year, hitting .268. No homers, but 7 RBIs. Oh, and 2 now to Mariners' second baseman. Again, both these teams not really in contention for the league title. Far from it, so to say, but still trying to, get some momentum, build some wins for the playoff start next week. We'll have a couple of those games for you on Clutch Sports Media. That one high for ball 1. Carithers back to first.
One of the most underrated things in baseball has to be catching fire late in the regular season. We've seen that happen so many times across so many different levels that it's just tough to ignore as like a meaningful factor. Obviously, we saw it last year with the Sunday Morning League. We saw it with Richwoods High School.
Yeah,
this
we
past
did.
This past spring season.
That one is hit well into left, but should still be catchable. And it's put away, so a deep fly ball for Stramp. That still comes up a good maybe 20, 30 feet short of clearing the fence out in left field. 330 down the left field line and also down the right field line as well. Pretty symmetrical field dimensions here at ICC. Okay, we are usually at the East Side Center, Dave Rogers Field to be exact. But this game, we wanted to feature Movesmart before the regular season ended. Hadn't seen them yet this year, Saw Brienzo's against the Miller Lite Falcons back around mid-season. Yeah, this is Bernardo Martinez. Other list is Luke Marcunis for Movesmart. Marcunis DHing. Watches a breaking ball, called strike. You didn't look at Jaden Rivera. I didn't really introduce you too much to him. This one hit well into center. This one is back. Will it be caught? It will. Another deep fly ball for the Mariners that looked good off the bat, but ends up settling in an outfielder's glove for out number 2. But Josh, take us through Rivera's pitching stats real quick for the year.
Yeah, he's started 3 games so far, 0-3 with a 7.97 ERA. So faced a couple struggles this year, but he's been solid across the board, 9 strikeouts. And he also bats as well as a .333 batting average. So solid all the way around, and as we saw in the first couple innings, he's done pretty well to start.
Certainly has, as believe this is Hayden Stork for Movesmart now with 2 outs and a runner on first. One thing I've noticed, Josh, in some of our Sunday morning league games, maybe I'm reading too much into it a bit as Stork swings and misses, but even if pitchers don't maybe have the most attractive numbers coming in, whenever we see them on the Sunday morning league game of the week, it seems like something just clicks for them. Maybe they see the camera and just start pitching a lot better, and Rivera right on cue strikes out Stork to end the inning. So Rivera putting together one of his better outings of the year, even though it's early, but his team is up 2-0 after the first 2 on a humid July Wednesday evening here in Peoria, Illinois.
And disappointing for the Mariners to not get anything going right there, run-wise, after getting that leadoff single. Still 5 more innings to play, still plenty of time to come back, but it's got to be a little disappointing for them as the season winds down.
Certainly is. Movesmart wants to get some runs. Plenty of time left, though. But we have a quick break. Again, I want to give a quick shout out to all of our great sponsors for the Peoria Sunday Morning League, the official sports drink of the PSML. First time that they've done so. We want to thank BODYARMOR for their support. Great, refreshing drink, lots of flavors, and great hydration as well. I want to thank Brienzo's Wood-Fired Pizza up in Peoria Heights for sponsoring the Brienzo's Orioles in their first ever year in the Sunday Morning League. Next time you want some pizza, head on over to Brienzo's. And also by the Movesmart Group. Anytime you need anything having to do with real estate in the Peoria area, Movesmart Group is your way to go. Thank them for their season-long support of the Movesmart Mariners. Move here into the top of the third. It'll be the heart of the order for the Orioles, Moylan, Brown, and Baker. Moylan and Brown both had RBI singles back in the first inning.
You'll notice the shadow's getting just a little bit longer. Sun could start to play more of a factor here for the defense, which is staring mostly into the sun here. And, these are the things that you got to continue to look at. It's just the conditions today are a little unique this season as far as the heat goes and the humidity. And sunlight's going to start playing a role in that too.
Yeah, just about every Wednesday, right around the 3rd or 4th inning, it becomes a little bit harder for outfielders to track down fly balls. Seen a couple really interesting looking catches. Remember there was one, I think maybe back in week 2, where a player did the splits down the left field line in foul territory to make a very big catch. Can't remember exactly what the situation was, but it was a big out. That may have been the Poor Brothers Jacks versus Tin Lizard Titans game. That one popped up and out.
As I remember correctly, it did have something to do with the sun. The outfielder and the third baseman together couldn't quite track it down, And I think it was the shortstop who came flying in to make that
That's
catch.
right.
Almost a diving catch, but it wasn't a dive. It was, the splits. So
Yeah. I just remembered that was the first game that we did. It was Firehouse Pizza versus Poor Brothers. That was week 1, and that was, I believe, Brendan Eigenbrod that made the catch, the shortstop for the Firehouse Pizza Expos. Expos having a pretty good year this year. They're in contention and actually leading the division right now at 16-4. Miller Lite is the only other team that can win the regular season title, as they're 2 games back with 2 left to play. So those 2 teams are playing tonight. That one fouled back and out. So Miller Lite needs to win that game, needs to win their next game, and hope that Firehouse Pizza loses to the Peoria Legion, who is not a member of the Sunday Morning League, but they play every team in the league, I believe, once each season, as Montoya gets the strikeout of Moylan. That's a big one to Brienzo's best batter, but the Legion, they play every team in the Sunday Morning League once, so that on Wednesdays, or at least once a week, a team can have a day off. So there's 7 teams in action. 1 team is at home, and usually once a week, this Peoria Legion will play that 7th team. I'll bring up Drew Brown. Called strike on the outside there. That'll make it 0-2. Brown's got some speed if he can get on base. 5 steals this year. And he strikes out looking. Montoya, 1, 2, 3. Made quick work. That bat was over almost as soon as it started.
and that's what you're looking for if you're a Montoya. You're looking for just nice and quick. It's gone well so far. Just want to maintain that status quo.
Montoya at 6 strikeouts already. His team has a deficit, but other than those first 4 batters, Montoya has looked phenomenal. Hasn't given up a hit since. And Jake Baker will try to change that. Montoya fires in again, low and away. That one pops into the mitt of Alex Garcia, the Mariners catcher. He's the lone Mariner that we haven't called his name yet, hasn't batted, but he'll be due up first in the bottom of the 3rd. As Baker looks at a 3-1, this one popped up. Whose ball is it? Left fielder or the shortstop? It looks like it's going to be the shortstop. That's Carithers, puts it away. And a 1-2-3, top of the 3rd for Matthew Montoya and the Movesmart Mariners. I got points for alliteration.
Absolutely, 100%.
As we move on here to bottom of the 3rd. Again, real quick, I want to thank Body Armor Sports Drink for being the official sports drink of the Peoria Sunday Morning League and the Peoria Sunday Morning League Game of the Week on Clutch Sports Media. And also by Brienzo's Wood-Fired Pizza up in Peoria Heights for some of the best pizza in town. Head on over to Brienzo's. Got great variety of pizzas, I must say. Good drinks as well. Can take the family there. Head on over to Brienzo's. And also by the Movesmart Group, dealing with real estate around the Peoria area. They're the pros when it comes to that. I thank them for their support of the Mariners.
And the Mariners had a really good defensive inning right there. What I want to see right now from them is a little bit of a better offensive inning. Maybe not even necessarily put runs on the board, but at least have a good start like they did last inning with the leadoff single, and then build on it a little bit. And I think if they can at least stay in the game here in this inning, again, runs are not necessary. Obviously, you'd like to have them, but I just want to see a good quality inning here from them moving forward.
Certainly do. It'll be Garcia, the 9 batter, and then Montoya and Honeycutt to bat for the Mariners.
Garcia is a bit of a utility man himself, batting .276, which is pretty decent for this Mariners team. 7 RBIs on the season. He's even pitched an inning. Allowed a couple runs in that one earlier this year.
Garcia batting .276 on the year, 7 RBIs, so pretty good numbers for a 9-hole batter. It may be the Mariners' strategy to maybe kind of have a wraparound guy. A guy batting 9th can almost effectively be, almost wanting to maybe have the same traits as a leadoff batter. Gets on base a lot. Healthy cut and a miss for Garcia. His first pitch. And breaking ball is inside, evens the count at 1. All the fans here at ICC tonight are pretty much all sitting in the shade. Again, one of the hottest days of the year, at least in terms of the heat index. Got a quick official weather report from one of my favorite apps on my phone, the Weather Channel app. That one in the dirt by Rivera. Our producer, Patrick Huber, not a fan of the Weather Channel, gives me a thumbs down. It's 92 right now, and it feels like 105. I think that may be one of the hottest, if not the hottest, real feel for a Clutch Sports Media broadcast ever. We've had some really hot ones. Our state semifinal and final softball broadcast for Illini Bluffs back at the start of June. Those were some absolute heaters near the 100. So those ones may have been hotter, but it's muggy. That one fouled off, hits the umpire. Can hear him laugh from here. Everyone's having fun in the heat.
And that heat does just make it that much harder to stay focused. Which, if you're in the infield, definitely need to be focused. And we've seen even just a couple plays already so far have been decided by a matter of inches. And that reaction time is going to be harder to pull off when it's so hot out.
Garcia pops this one up. And on the left side, Garrett looks for it and has it for out number 1 here in the bottom of the 3rd. Josh, I'd like to say I think, I consider myself at least sort of a baseball purist. I'm not completely one of those people that doesn't embrace any change at all. But, one thing that would make, this game really fun that would be completely out of left field is if each team could maybe have like a little sprinkler break. If we have like a little sprinkler maybe in foul territory, each team gets to line up and run through it at the end of each half inning. Maybe have it running in front of the dugout. That one ripped down the right field line by Montoya. But maybe set it up kind of right in between the foul line and your dugout. When you run back in from the field, you get to run through the sprinkler. It's your reward for eating 3 outs maybe.
I'd like to propose a slip and slide between first and second.
Now, slip and slide baseball or slip and slide kickball, I've seen a lot of videos on Instagram and TikTok about that. It looks really fun. I've never played it myself.
Makes stealing a little bit more interesting, wouldn't it?
Just gotta hope that there be no injuries. That's really the main thing there. Montoya sees a breaking pitch, chops it to the right side. And on the short hop, as Campbell fires it over to his father, Tim Campbell, and he dropped it. So that'll be a free base runner there for the Mariners as Montoya reaches on the error. So 1 up on base, 1 down for Bo Honeycutt, who struck out his first time up.
Honeycutt's got 4 doubles, which leads the Mariners team. Could use one right now. Good double would send Montoya home.
And
especially now that he's still on second base.
The Orioles catcher, Jack Mullen, couldn't grab a hold on it. And leading Montoya to scurry over into second base, uncontested. And Rivera fires for a strike. Movesmart could really use a base hit here. They've gotten 2 singles so far today. They've put one runner on base each inning, but haven't been able to compound any hits. No one home at second base. And Honeycutt will reset. Righty against righty. And the 2-1. Swung on and missed. Bounced, I believe, off the catcher. Tough to see from where we were. Don't know if it was foul tipped, but to strike either way and make it 2-2. That was not foul tipped because Montoya moved over to third. If it was foul tipped, he would have had to sit over at second. So Movesmart's first run, just 90 feet away from the plate. Big chance for Honeycutt's 5th RBI. Betting .250 on the year. And the stretch and the pitch outside.
And this is all going to go back to just putting the ball in play, which you'll remember Montoya did towards the beginning of this inning. And that hustle to first base is what got him safe in the first place. Took advantage of an error, stole second, made his way to third, and now he's in scoring position. So you make contact, good things will happen.
That one hit well into the outfield. This one will stay in the park, but it should be deep enough for the speedy Montoya. He's going to make it home with no problem at all. And the Mariners have scored their first ever run on Clutch Sports Media. That cuts the deficit in half. That just shows you, like you mentioned, Josh, what good base running can do. Montoya didn't advance much. We'd be probably sitting talking maybe about runner on first, runner on second, 2 outs, and needing perhaps a bigger hit here from Julio Torres. Torres, the leading stolen base and run and RBI man for Movesmart. He singled and stole. So he's now up to 12 steals on the year, back in the second inning. And he gets hit by a pitch there. And they'll try on down to first. So he's reached now in both his plate appearances. That'll bring up Drew Gillette.
And that'll make Torres a good candidate to do what Montoya just did and try to level this game with some speedy base running, as he's been known to do. Could see steal number 13 incoming here in just a minute.
I like to see both these teams really play aggressive. I know it's near the end of the season, and I know it's hot out. Maybe just kind of want to, part of you maybe wants to go back inside the air conditioning, but I like to see some aggressive play, and because both these teams, their positions for the playoffs are for the most part locked up. Just playing for pride and momentum here today as Gillette fouls that one off. That one not far from being fair. Tim Campbell was ready over at first. I want to see Tim Campbell bat again, Josh. I don't know about you, but we've seen a couple of the older fellas from the PSML play a little bit late in games, but Campbell gets a start today. And as we've mentioned throughout our broadcasts this year, if you've been following along and watching every week, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but it's one of my favorite things about the Sunday Morning League. You get guys that maybe just graduated high school, maybe still 17, 18 years old. Then you got guys like Tim Campbell who has sons that are old enough to play on the team. It's just a melting pot of Peoria baseball.
It's a pretty interesting contrast, isn't it? And I think that's what makes this league so alluring.
And you call it, Josh. Runner is going. Shortstop not on the bag. But strike 3. Again, during the steal. Eyes are the base runner, not the batter. And Drew Gillette strikes out to end the bottom of the third, rather, for the Mariners. Then we'll move on to the fourth now. Brienzo's. Their lead was cut into. Can they respond? Find out, but not before we want to thank our great sponsors for this evening's broadcast. And Body Armors, they've been with us for all of our broadcasts this year for the Sunday Morning League on Clutch Sports Media, the official sports drink of the PSML for great refreshing taste and hydration before, during, or after your next activity, whether that's playing baseball or mowing the lawn. Definitely want to drink a Body Armor. And also buy Brienzo's wood-fired pizza up in Peoria Heights for some great pizza and more food, great drinks, and more. Head on up to Brienzo's. And also buy the Movesmart group, dealing with real estate in the Peoria area. I want to certainly encourage you to patronize them next time you have any real estate happenings. Yeah, you're going to look at some tractors out there in the outfield, some Caterpillars, some yellow ones out there well beyond your right center field fence. Probably, I'd say, probably a good 1,000 feet. I'd say it would take a absolutely mammoth home run to hit those. I don't even know if it'd be humanly possible to break a window on those tractors out there.
We were discussing changes that you would make to the game for at least today. I think a home run that hits the cat deserves an extra couple runs tacked on just for that.
I think, honestly, you get the cat tractor out there, that's just automatic game winner. Because not only does that require incredible distance, it will require accuracy as well.
It's a high bar.
That one fouled back by Jacob Campbell, the second baseman, who struck out his first time up.
But we have seen, obviously, someone hit the top of the pole over there just past the right field dugout. It's possible.
On past the backstop. Another ball from Montoya. Again, has pitched phenomenally since giving up 3 hits in his first 4 batters he faced. Since then, he's had 6 strikeouts, a walk, a couple other outs as well. That one, a good strike to make it count full. To Campbell. I think you hear Tim Campbell, either that or someone in the Orioles dugout giving some encouragement, some advice. That one fouled back, and I can confirm that was his father, Tim Campbell. Get him some good coach talk. Father-son duo. Also, Anthony Campbell, Tim's son and Jacob's brother, also on the team as well. And Campbell fights off a couple pitches, ends up drawing a walk, so leadoff man is on for Brienzo's. Chance now for Ian Reed. Still looking for his first hit of the year. That one past the backstop. Campbell's on the move. He'll be in a second safely.
Feels like a repeat of the last half inning when the Mariners got someone on first, made his way over to second. That was Montoya, and got a run out of it in the end.
Really, that's kind of what kills you as a defense is those stolen bases and wild pitches past balls where usually it's a ball to the batter and runner almost pretty much gets a free base. So those can kind of come back to hurt you, as both teams have learned today. Reed watches one out and away. Reed has drawn a walk this year. And he is one pitch away from drawing his second. 3-1. Top of the fourth. Been playing for about an hour or so. Maybe this is a part where Montoya and maybe Rivera, his counterpart, might start to tire a little bit, especially in this heat.
And that's just going to make those quick innings matter exponentially so as we go on. It really is a factor.
Yeah, no, it really is. And the quicker you can get out of the inning, get hydrated, the better you feel, maybe the better you pitch, the better you hit. Montoya is the better pitcher there in that battle. Strikes out Reed. Make him 0 for 2. And with 1 out, that's Luke Sander up again, the number 8 hole hitter for Brienzo's check swing. Field umpire said he did not go. That one was pretty close. At least from our angle, I felt like he broke the wrist, but yeah, he's got a better look than we do. That one was undoubtedly a strike. To make it 1-1. Foul tipped, and oh, that one, Garcia, and he is down. Montoya, his battery mate, coming to check in on him. And Montoya said, I don't know whether he's joking or not, but he said Sanders should have swung at it. He said that it was his fault. You know, they're laughing about it now. I can't imagine that there was any really bad blood between them. I mean, you never know in the game of baseball, but looks like Garcia's all right. Certainly hope he is. We'll take an opportunity to reset. I want to thank all of our crew that helps make this broadcast possible. My broadcast partner, Josh Messenger, our producer, Patrick Huber, and Charlie Schermerhorn behind the camera here today. I'm Jonathan Michael. Glad you're with us here on Clutch Sports Media. Despite dealing with some early technical problems, we got it all figured out. First time broadcasting here at ICC. We'll have playoff coverage of the Sunday Morning League coming your way soon. Stay tuned to our social media to find out what games we're going to be at. That one, Sanders did not swing. Josh, I don't know what you thought, but I think there he held up.
I would agree with that. I agree that was the right assessment.
So a 2-2. Now to Sanders, runner on second. Another check swing. But it's going to be a dropped third. And I say he went. A little bit of a late signal there from the home plate umpire. Sanders wasn't quite sure if he could trot down to first with a walk or if he had to run it out because of a strikeout, but gets tagged out. No matter how you slice it, and that's 2 down for the Orioles, and their manager / first baseman, Tim Campbell, will get another crack at it after striking out back in the second.
There you go. That's what you wanted to see, John.
I did.
It could raise his batting average by a whole 166 points.
Campbell chops over to second. A little bit of a tough ground ball. Chance that it maybe would have been misfielded, but Campbell will be retired. However, Josh, I know we talked about his batting average. Don't think he really cares about it that much because Tim Campbell is a 2022 inductee into the Sunday Morning League Hall of Honor. Had a 13-year career and is actually, in league history, the second highest batting average in PSML history, which is amazing to think, especially since the Sunday Morning League is 108 years old, the oldest amateur baseball league in America. Tim Campbell, number 2 all-time in batting average. So that ground out, I'm sure he wanted to get a hit, but I don't think he's hurting too much.
It's pretty impressive career anyway you slice it, honestly. 108 years, like you said, and to be the number 2 man, it's pretty impressive.
Certainly worthy of his accolades, and we'll take a quick break to thank our sponsor, Sunday Morning League Game of the Week. BODYARMOR Sports Drink is the official sports drink of the Peoria Sunday Morning League. I'm sure a couple Mariners and Orioles maybe have a couple bottles of BODYARMOR sitting in their dugouts. Could certainly use one up here in the booth. That'd be nice. I want to thank BODYARMOR for their support of the Sunday Morning League. And also by Brienzo's Wood-Fired Pizza up in Peoria Heights. I want to thank them for sponsoring the Orioles and their first year in the Sunday Morning League. And also by the Movesmart Realty Group in Peoria. Thank you to Movesmart for their support of the Mariners. Let's move on here to the bottom of the 4th. It'll be Carithers, Stramp, and Markunis, I believe.
And Carithers got the bottom of the 2nd inning for the Mariners. Started off with a single last time. Love to do the same thing again so far.
Getting the leadoff man on is always important, and that one is low and away. 2-0 count to the Mariners shortstop. That one hit past the shortstop. Diving was Garrett. He wasn't able to make the grab and made that 2 leadoff singles now for Austin Carruthers. And now only down 1. That it could be big for Movesmart as they try and tie this one up or maybe take the lead here as we advance to the later stages.
And Carruthers leads the team with 10 runs scored on the season as well. So Mariners putting him in a good spot to get number 11.
It's a good sign when he's on the base pass. That'll bring up Stramp. Pickoff throw. No tag. Over at first.
Stramp's got 3 doubles and 7 RBIs on the season. Excuse me.
They're shading Stramp a little bit left in the outfield. The Orioles center fielder Drew Brown is a couple paces to the left in line of second base. Our left, his right. Breaking pitch, hit foul. It's about a foot left of the chalk. 0-2 now for Stramp. Anytime you get the leadoff man on, especially in a low-scoring game, Josh, the bunt always is potentially in play. Don't think we're going to see it here from Stramp, but sometimes small ball can work out. I think we're maybe conditioned to seeing it a little bit. Me and you both, obviously, both we're both Bradley students last year, and Bradley baseball, their manager Elvis Dominguez loves to bunt, especially
It's true.
when there's a leadoff guy on, no one out. The Braves probably do so a little bit more than most teams, you'd say, but I've seen it work. Not a bad strategy at all, but 0-2, Stramp can't risk laying one down here because if it rolls foul, it would be a strikeout. As the lights are now on at the Jim Thome Fields. So one thing I haven't talked about, Josh, is that this whole complex, the baseball field and softball field next door, both named after Jim Thome, as we'll try and get our camera back shortly. Had some issues with that today, but I can give you a rundown of what's going on. That one, I believe, was a ball to Stramp.
Yeah, he laid off on the swing right there.
And there it is. Let there be light. And
And
Stramp chops one to the shortstop, and not being able to make the grab is Garrett. And runner at third slides in safely. It'll be
Mariners is in
runners
there.
on the corners now for the Mariners, and no one out. An aggressive attempt there by Garrett did not pay off. Thought he had it lined up. Stabbed at it. Didn't come up with it. And the Mariners now have the go-ahead run on first base with DH Markunis up to bat. He flew out to deep center field his first time up. That one, or that result, I should say, wouldn't hurt the Mariners here. That one away. Markunis, perhaps more of a pitcher for the Mariners. He's thrown 2 complete games for them this year and 26 and a third innings. Has 30 strikeouts and 20 walks. Pick off throw to first. Stramp dives back.
And you'll remember that this is what scored the Mariners' first run an inning ago, was aggressive base running by Montoya. We saw similar things out of Carruthers just now. Could pay off.
Runner is going. Stramp heading to second. Throws in time, but it's not there. It bounces in the dirt. Carruthers will trot on home. Could have taken a nice little stroll and still made it. Stramp safe into second, and the Mariners have tied this one up without even having to put the ball in play. So they'll for sure be happy about that. Runner on second, nobody out. For Luke Markunis. Pitch from Rivera, fires it in low. Rivera still pitched a good game. I think, at least in comparison to his season stats, this should be a game that helps his stats improve. That one a swing and a miss. And Rivera fires. Waits and fires. 3-2 count now. I'll get a quick look coming up at the final game of the schedule for both teams. This is the penultimate game of the 2023 regular season for the Mariners and Orioles. This, I believe, is the final game of the year for the Mariners. The Orioles will take on the Cruisins Reds tomorrow. This one is chopped to the left side and through for a base hit. And it's going to be a play at the plate. Sliding in safe is Stramp. And the Mariners take a 3-2 lead on an RBI single from Luke Markunis. That is 3 singles in the inning now.
That was really nice execution by everyone involved there on the Mariners. Markunis was able to make it all the way to second, just threaded it through the hole between the shortstop and third base, and obviously great base running by Stramp to get all the way back and beat the throw to the plate. So that's about just as good of a play as you could hope for in that position. If you're the Mariners, and you still got a guy in scoring position ready to do some more damage.
Yeah, they're probably going to credit Markunis with a single and advancing to second on the throw. That's the advantage of having plays at the plate. Shifts the defense's attention to the plate, and you can kind of just take that extra base. So Brienzo's will have a conference on the mound, but it looks like Rivera will stay on the bump to face Hayden Stork. Still nobody out in the inning for the Mariners. As we forge forward on a humid Wednesday evening here in East Peoria, Illinois.
There's some wind starting to blow in here, moving from kind of left field out to deep right. So that could affect things. It's starting to blow in a little harder than it was earlier this afternoon.
Wind hasn't been much of a factor. I mean, aside from it being humid, it's a beautiful day. Sure, some clouds would be nice. And Stork, a big swing, comes up empty. I'll make it 1-1.
Batting .222, and he has an RBI to his name. Could gear up for another one right here.
Certainly feels different when you have a 2-run lead versus a 1-run lead. The 2-run lead has just kind of feel like it really forces the other team to get some big hits rather than maybe just taking a walk, moving him around the base pass and bringing him in. As Stork flies this one in very shallow left. Garrett makes the catch for out number 1. So after being unable to come up with a ball earlier, makes up for it there. Out number 1, that brings up Alex Garcia, the Mariners catcher.
Good chance we'll see Montoya back up to the plate here in this inning as well, assuming you don't get a double play. And we've seen what he can do already in this game. He's the guy who got this whole ball rolling for Movesmart in the first place.
Certainly did. He reached on Error back in the third. Came around to score on a sac fly from Honeycutt. So I'm grounded to second. And no one is at first. Miscommunication there from Brienzo's. What should have been an out for the Orioles turns in a single for Alex Garcia. So, again, that's maybe you look at it, it's not like a booming home run, not a huge strikeout, but look when this game is over, depending on the outcome, it's a big difference between runners on the corners and one out and a runner on third with two outs, especially since the Mariners have just taken the lead here in the bottom of the fourth.
I'm a big proponent of small things win you games. And we've certainly seen that out of the Mariners thus far tonight, where they've just done a couple of small things a little bit better than the Orioles have, and they're up now.
Certainly, and it's been a struggle for both teams this year, and I think if we had keys to the game before this one started, I think maybe whoever does the little things right is going to win. Usually, it translates to any sport. As the pitcher Montoya up to bat now, he has the only home run, excuse me, of any Mariner on the team this year, hitting .283. Big swing and a miss. Runner is going, and again, Brienzo's is caught sleeping. Some gaffes in the field from the Orioles. Now there's runners on second and third, one out, and that takes away the possibility of a double play. So Montoya now, the pitcher, has a chance to help out his own cause. Fouls that one back right off the mask of Moylan. May have been the chest plate of the umpire as well.
You mentioned that Montoya has the only home run for the Mariners, but that means he's the only one in this entire ballpark who has a home run this year, as the Orioles haven't scored one yet either.
That sounds crazy to think that it may be true. Both these teams don't really have a ton of power. That one is fouled away. Take a quick look on the Sunday Morning League website. Again, Sunday Morning League, gotta say, folks, for amateur baseball, they do a great job of keeping track of stats throughout the year. And Josh, you're right. Orioles have not hit a home run this year. The next pitch here to Montoya. Chance to do some damage. Movesmart's already taken the lead. That one is hit well to right. Would have been a beauty of a base hit if it stayed foul, or fair, I should say. But it goes foul, and they'll have to do it again. And it looks like Montoya will get a new bat. Maybe felt that one crack a bit. Didn't break. Sunday Morning League, a wood bat league. Definitely a switch for a lot of these players in high school and college who play with aluminum bats.
Another little quirk of this league that makes it all the more interesting to me.
It really puts a big emphasis on pitching as well. And a swing and a miss from Montoya. So that'll be out number 2.
It's a big out, too, for the Orioles.
And that one certainly helps Rivera. Base hit could have made it a 5-2 game, but still a one-run affair here in the bottom of the fourth. We're talking before this game, Josh, we probably would have been surprised if this one was pretty close, as Honeycutt is up now for his third trip to the plate. He struck out in the first and had a sac fly back in the third inning. Oh, and breaking ball on the inside. Another ball. Make it 2-0.
And it does seem like the Orioles have been starting to lose control a little bit of this game, so that was a really critical out right there, striking out Montoya.
Nice curveball for a strike. One found the zone. Make it 2-1 to Honeycutt. That one low and away. Walk here from Rivera if he were to throw another ball. Doesn't hurt you a ton. It's better than giving up a single and gives you a force at any base. Julio Torres is on deck for the blue and yellow. Pitch never broke for Rivera, and Honeycutt has himself a free pass, so ducks on the pond for Julio Torres, who is the Mariners' leading RBI man with 8. Could get up to double digits. With the base knock here, it looks like this may be it for Jaden Rivera. And I'll take the ball from him. We'll try and get a look and see who will come in and pitch now for Brienzo. It looks like it's number 12. I don't have a number 12 on the roster, so or rather not, that's not 12, that is a 22. That is Jacob Campbell, who comes over from first base, so he'll be on the mound now for the Orioles. Josh, you want to introduce us to Campbell? Tell the viewers at home a little bit what he's done this year.
Well, we've already met him so far, being the son of Tim Campbell, so we've talked about him quite a bit so far this game. 4-3 so far in 7 games started. 4.16 ERAs, and he's got 42 strikeouts over the last 32 innings that were pitched. 42 strikeouts in the 32 innings that he pitched last year, and that's kind of continued. He's had a good stretch this year as well.
Campbell's pitched 8 innings, 12 strikeouts, and 8 walks. And sporting a 1-1 record at 6.13 ERA. So, see what he can do to hold the Mariners and some Orioles getting the chance. All 3 Orioles outfielders are sitting down in the grass, and honestly, I can't really blame them.
Sun's about maybe an hour and 15 minutes away from setting completely, but that's still a long time to be out here in the heat.
It certainly is, and hey, take that chance while you have it. In these 7-inning games, pitching changes aren't quite as frequent. You see some complete games. We've seen a couple, especially here on Clutch Sports Media. We've seen some great pitching from Clay McConkey from Miller Lite. A couple other really good outings. And a great game last week between the Coles Diamond Gallery Royals and the Tin Lizard Titans. As Torres bats now with the bases loaded and 2 out. And you can watch any of our Sunday Morning League broadcasts on our YouTube channel for free. That one fouled back, almost caught by an Expo from Firehouse Pizza. They're in the building for the next game. 1-1-2 Torres, check swing. It's going to be a close call, but they got him. That is strike number 3 to Julio Torres. So Jacob Campbell comes in and gets the job done. It strikes out Torres with the bases loaded. And the Mariners will stay at 3, moving into 5th inning. That felt huge for the Orioles.
Absolutely. I mean, you got the feeling that those last 2 or 3 batters were going to decide the chances that the Mariners were going to run away with this. And, yeah, that was a great move by Tim Campbell. Put his son in at pitching, paid off with just a couple of pitches. Bam, we're out of there and on to the bottom of the inning.
Father knows best. And as we move on to the top of the 5th
inning,
we want to thank our official sports drink of the Sunday Morning League, Body Armor, the official sports drink of the PSML, and the Sunday Morning League game of the week. And also Brienzo's Wood-Fired Pizza up in Peoria Heights. Lots of fun things to do in that area. But Brienzo's, I gotta say, it might be one of the best ones. Some great pizza, great drinks. You can watch all the action. You can even maybe watch Clutch Sports Media at Brienzo's. You never know. And also by the Movesmart Group with all your real estate needs in the Peoria area. I want to thank Movesmart for their support of the PSML. And also, in case you weren't tuning in earlier, give another quick plug to CSM Overtime, Clutch Sports Media's brand new subscription service that will bring you more coverage, especially in written coverage, than ever before. We're already in, I think, in just our second full day, Josh, and I think we have 7 stories already written on our page since we launched Overtime. That's about as much as we had for the entire existence of CSM, at least on our website. We're going to be having full stats for football, volleyball, soccer, golf, for all the local high schools around here. Once the seasons get rolling here in just a few short weeks, we'll have nightly roundups and keep you posted on all the action from around the area, and also full photo and video galleries from our talented people behind the camera, and in-depth feature stories, my personal favorite. It'll highlight the players, coaches, and teams that make the Central Illinois high school sports scene so special. So you can subscribe today for $8.49 a month, or our annual plan could save about $10 to $15 for $89.49 a year. You certainly don't want to miss out on it. You can subscribe at clutchsportsil.com/overtime.
Yeah, and we've got a couple great writers who are starting to step up their game. Gavin Russell, Ethan Carboni, some others who are out there. But the game changer here, and you're going to be too humble to admit it, is that we were able to tear you away from all your other broadcasting duties. And, yeah, you're going to be making a big difference for us this year, pumping out a lot of content, and it'll be great. Looking forward to it.
Josh, I appreciate the kind words. That one, I hadn't seen that too much before. Foul ball chopped and went in between the netting and the small opening between the dugout. Bounced off the side of the Mariners dugout as Garcia lines it to the left side, and he'll be retired for out number 1. Yeah, back to your point, Josh. It's been a lot of fun getting out. I've already been out to a couple schools talking, football previews, some other stuff in the works that can't divulge yet, but I'll have some really cool stories coming up for Clutch Sports Media. Had a story about Washington's big 7-on-7 camp on Saturday. That was a ton of fun. Also a very hot day. Can't decide, Josh, if I'd rather play football or baseball on a day like this, because football, you got, the pads, the helmet,
a lot more weight to look around for sure.
Yeah, you got some weight.
Mm-hmm.
But, baseball, the pants, a little bit thicker material.
It's true.
And,
also just standing there, so you're thinking about it a lot more, aren't you?
Exactly. And also, I feel like there's obviously more players on a football team, but there's usually more coolers on a football sideline.
It's true.
Sometimes there's like little misters that will blow some fans that'll blow some water. This one popped straight up for Garrett. Looking for it was Honeycutt. He couldn't make the catch.
There's that wind.
I think it may have been the wind. I mean, sun is out. Not really blinding right now, but Orioles maybe can take advantage of a Mariners mistake. That'll bring up Jack Moylan now, the leading batter for Brienzo. So this is who you want at the plate. And if you're an Orioles fan, keep an eye on Garrett at first. Maybe they're aggressive on the base pass. Garrett takes a big lead but does not go. Called strike to Moylan.
I'm really looking for Brienzo's to have a great response to what the Mariners were able to do in the last half inning here. We're getting late in the game, so the time to strike is now. And starting off well. Got a single by Garrett. And but yeah, this response is going to be pretty critical to kind of stemming that momentum change that the Mariners were getting to fall in their favor.
Pickoff throw down at first, close play, and he's safe. Nice job by Garrett diving back, but also a good throw. Got to give some props to Alex Garcia behind the dish, whipping it down to first. 2-1 count. Swing and a miss there from Moylan to even it up. Drew Brown on deck. He has an RBI single and a strikeout look in. And Moylan waves at a pitch out of the zone. Montoya gets him to chase. And after Gear reaches on the error, 2 down now for him and the Mariners. And Drew Brown. It's going to be a big out for Montoya. He's pitched well, but you don't know how long he's going to go. Could be his last batter, but he could be out for more action in the 6th. I think it just depends on what his fatigue level is with this heat.
Yeah, and Montoya, again, top of the first got away from him a little bit, but ever since then he's been rock solid up on the mound there. I see no reason why that should change, and I think the Mariners can get a little bit more out of him before he hits the dugout for good.
The Orioles, in fact, Josh, haven't had a hit since the first inning. They've had 2 walks, and Garrett just reaching on that error now, but no base hits off Montoya since this man, Drew Brown, hit an RBI single back in the top of the first. As Montoya will pitch. That one low.
And I mentioned in the top of the first how important beginnings of games are as far as deciding the ultimate outcome. But it's really a good player that's able to not be flummoxed too much by getting in a negative situation, being able to pull themselves out of it. And that's what we've seen right here out of Montoya and crew.
Brown swings and misses. Josh, I gotta say, I think that may be the first time ever that the word flummoxed has been dropped on a Clutch Sports Media broadcast. It's a good word, honestly. You dug deep in your lexicon there to find that one.
I sure did, and you had to throw in lexicon right there just to get even, didn't you?
I did. Those would be good words in Scrabble. But the only letter that Matthew Montoya needs in Scrabble is K, as he gets one of Drew Brown to end the top of the 5th. As we move on, Movesmart leading 3-2 here at Illinois Central College. Here in East Peoria, great complex here at the Jim Thome Fields. Jim Thome, an alum of ICC and Peoria area native, Limestone graduate, gave him back to his alma mater. And I want to thank the official sports drink of the Peoria Sunday Morning League, Body Armor, for their support of the PSML. With every inning, gotta say, out here in this humid July evening, Body Armor sounds pretty good. Sure it will for you as well. Next time you're at the grocery store, choose Body Armor. And also buy Brienzo's wood-fired pizza for great pizza with lots of variety. You can get just about any pizza you want there at Brienzo's. Head on up to the Heights. And also buy Movesmart Group for all of your real estate needs in the greater Peoria area. Movesmart is your choice. Thank you for your support of the Movesmart Mariners. Bottom of the 5th has rolled around. Mariners chance to bat. It'll be Gillette, Carruthers, and Stramp. Movesmart nearly batted around in that last inning, in which they scored 2, but led off the inning with 3 straight singles. This kind of goes back to the basics, Josh. You can read deep in analytics and stuff like that, and all sorts of maybe sabermetrics nowadays, but there's got to be some sort of stat out there that if the leadoff runner reaches, they'll probably score a pretty good amount of the time, probably over 50%. And that'll ring true for Movesmart, so they've came alive as this one's moved along. Jacob Campbell back out for another inning on the mound. It's got Moylan behind the dish. And Drew Gillette comes up to bat looking for his first hit of the game. Has struck out swinging twice. Check swing. Umpire makes the call himself. Said he went.
Gillette has an interesting stat. He's reached base due to a walk 18 times so far this season, which leads the team overall. It's not a stat you can control too much.
Certainly can a little bit with, having a good eye, but Gillette knows when to lay off, but strikes out there, so he's got the hat trick so far tonight with 3 Ks, and that'll bring up Austin Carruthers now, who's having quite the opposite day. He's 2 for 2 with 2 singles. Came in this one batting 146. This is one of his better games of the year.
And both of those innings that the Mariners scored runs in, he was the first guy to reach base.
Didi was. That one grounded over to third. Baker has it, flips it over to his manager, Tim Campbell, across the diamond for 2 quick outs. I'll bring up Stramp as we move along to the bottom of the 5th. Firehouse Pizza Expos and the Miller Lite Falcons, both here at ICC, getting warmed up for the game that will take place at 8 p.m. Unfortunately, we won't have that for you on Clutch Sports Media. Our contract agreement limits us to 8 games this year. We'll have 2 more coming. Those are going to be playoff games, so who knows? They could be a rematch of the Falcons and the Expos, but with much bigger stakes. Certainly that chance is there. And Stramp grounds it to short, 6-3. And did Campbell hang on to that? Don't know if he did. And how about Stramp? The heads up play. He slides into second. And the Orioles are caught Rip Van Winkling again. Asleep at the wheel. Maybe just a little bit confused, but Stramp takes second base. And wouldn't it be nice if you're the Mariners and you could maybe get a run out of that? Well, it looked like it was going to be the end of the inning on a ground ball to shortstop. Now you got a runner on second with 2 outs.
The umpires are discussing this, but I don't see any reason why.
And we're not really sure
what's
going on. Stramp is being ordered back to first. I'm not too happy about it, but I'll look at the advantages there. At least he's made it on base.
Was a little bit of an odd play. He definitely reached second, like, way after the play was over.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I appreciate the aggressiveness. We said we wanted to see some aggressive choices in this game. Maybe Tanner Stramp was listening to us, but
I don't hate the move. Almost
No.
pulled it off.
Yeah. So after the dust settles, runner on first, 1-0 count and 2 outs. This one is hit kind of in no man's land, but chasing towards it is the left fielder Garcia, puts it away. And after the crazy play, Arcunis flies out to end the bottom of the 5th. We got a good game on our hands. Stay tuned to the last 2 innings. Movesmart Mariners 3, the Brienzo's Orioles 2. Movesmart trying to end the year with some momentum. And we want to thank our official sponsor of the Sunday Morning League, the official sports drink, I should say, BODYARMOR. I want to thank them for coming along in the 108th season of the PSML. And also by Brienzo's Wood-Fired Pizza up in Peoria Heights. You can grab a pizza, grab your drink of choice, watch the games. You can also get out of there pretty quickly as well. It's almost like a hybrid fast food sit-down restaurant. They know how to get it done over there at Brienzo's. And also the Movesmart Realty Group over in the Peoria area. For all of your real estate needs, choose Movesmart.
So what's interesting so far is Brienzo's got out to the early lead. Mariners allowed a couple runs, and then it kind of took the Mariners a little bit to kind of get that rhythm back in, and eventually they were able to kind of reverse it the other way, and they scored back. Well, what I've seen here from the Orioles is basically the exact same defensive sequence that we saw from the Mariners, where over the course of those first couple of innings, They allowed a lot in the beginning, but then just as, the first to the third inning, they got better and better. And that last half inning by the Orioles on defense was pretty good. And now they have the chance to kind of flip it back the other way. Only one run down, still totally within reach. And they're up to bat now with a chance.
First pitch swinging is Baker, and he chops it foul. Orioles have Baker, Jacob Campbell, and Reed due up this inning. If they can get a couple more batters to reach base, I can guarantee that Moylan, Garrett, and Brown maybe might get another at-bat. So even if you don't score the run here, if you're the Orioles, positive side is you can give your heart of the order a chance to bat again in the top of the 7th. Baker is struck out looking and popped out to shortstop. Montoya back out on the bump for his 6th inning of work. Certainly in line for game MVP honors. The Sunday Morning League, I may notice, they give out game MVP honors to just about everybody for each game. You can see it on their social media, especially on Twitter. And the 3-2 to Baker is away, so leadoff batter aboard for the Orioles. Can Montoya put out a small fire? As here's Campbell.
And it is cooling down to 91 degrees right now. There's another weather check from us, and the shadows are getting longer. So
temperature still up there in the 90s, but the humidity certainly has dropped. I'm certainly glad about that.
And that breeze, too. All probably contributing factors in helping get Montoya back out there for another half inning on the mound.
And he's also been pitching pretty well. Again,
Exactly.
Still has not allowed a hit since the first. Pitch low and away. Called a strike on the outside. Black to Jacob Campbell. He started the game at first and now is pitching, so he gets a chance to help out his own cause. Both pitchers getting a chance to hit that one just out of the reach of Honeycutt. Made a valiant attempt to chase that one down near the fence, but came up just a foot or two short. Josh, going back to what I said about earlier about how I'm a little bit of a baseball purist, although not a huge one. Pitchers batting. That's one thing I do miss in the National League. Is lined out is Campbell, and Baker is doubled off. That's an easy double play for Movesmart. So a unassisted DP. Torres makes the grab, steps on first. Big one there for the Mariners.
Yeah, that's not what you wanted to see if you're Brienzo's here. Down to 1 out. Well, 4 outs total, 1 out in this half inning. And a decent chunk of chances right there just evaporated.
So 2 outs now. And the base is empty for Reed. Again, these little plays, this game is not being decided by hits to the wall or big home runs, but little things like that are looking to be the difference in this late season game between the Orioles and the Mariners. That one was chopped foul, and that one was eaten up by the grass. It had some heat on it, and then grass just ate it up.
To your earlier point, I feel like we've only seen 2 plays this entire game where the ball has landed in the outfield. We've had several grounders that have gone through the infield and into the outfield, but I feel like there hasn't been anything that's gone terribly deep so far.
And the Orioles don't need to put a ball in the outfield to get a man on base. Reed, another hit by pitch. So I think at this point Montoya has seen how many people he can get on base without giving up a hit. So
he's pretty good at it so far.
As long as you can prevent those hits, it really makes it hard for Brienzo to push across that all-important tying run. as Luke Sander watches the first pitch strike. Sander DHing today and batting in the 8 hole. He's popped out to second and struck out. Good eye there, lays off on it.
He's also pitched for 2/3 of an inning this year, one point or another, and he's got 2 strikeouts. So he can get it done.
0-2. And that one on the outside corner. Sander strikes out looking. Brienzo's puts 2 runners on, but a unassisted double play and another strikeout for Matthew Montoya. That's his 10th. I had to count it up there for a second, but 6 innings pitched, 2 runs allowed, and 10 strikeouts. Just 3 hits for Matthew Montoya and the Movesmart Mariners. Movesmart will have a chance to put on some insurance runs, but real quick before that, I want to thank all of our sponsors real quick. You probably know who they are at this point, but want to give them another shout out while the Orioles take the field. BODYARMOR Sports Drink, the official sports drink of the Peoria Sunday Morning League, and also Brienzo's Wood-Fired Pizza up in Peoria Heights, some of the best Peoria area pizza, and also some of the best real estate group. It's the Movesmart group in the greater Peoria area. I want to thank them for their support of the Sunday Morning League. A big inning there for the Mariners, and they will have Stork, Garcia, and Montoya here in the bottom of the 6th. Those are the 8, 9, and 1 batters for the Mariners. Again, we'll recap each of these teams' seasons real quick. Again, can't be at every game. We wish we could be. Movesmart won 3 out of 4 back around mid-June or so. Had a really tough stretch to start July. They lost 8 games in a row. They beat Tin Lizard back on Sunday 8-3 and are coming off an 11-6 loss in the game 2 of that doubleheader against the Titans. Getting a quick look at Brienzo's as well. That one ripped foul. Brienzo's took a while to get going. They lost their first 11 games before taking down Tin Lizard back on July 11th. They also beat the division leader Firehouse Pizza 12-10 back on July 16th. And they also beat Poor Bros 6-5 on July 23rd. I believe that was Sunday. That one is popped up. Mariners fans want it to get out of play. It does. Over along the right side again. Popular spot for those foul balls. Although we've seen less dugout and light pole strikes since the first inning. This is Hayden Stork for Movesmart. Came into this one with just 1 RBI, 1 double and a run. He's drawn 2 walks. And it called strike 3. Stork not so happy with the call, but that'll be a K for Jacob Campbell. And that'll bring up Alex Garcia, the backstop for the Mariners. Looking ahead to the top of the 7th, where Brienzo's needs to score a run to keep the game going, 2 to take the lead. They'll have Tim Campbell, Mario Garcia, and Andrew Garrett. Another called strike. Campbell really looking good here in the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, and that's what you need from the Orioles at this point. I mean, you're not going to be able to do anything if you don't have a clean inning right here in the top of the 7th. Yeah, so good work here by Campbell. Another strikeout just like that.
Yep, Garcia goes down swinging. So Campbell's got 3 strikeouts. It's been a K-fest of some sorts, Josh. I noticed you were doing some advanced stats in between the break, at least for a broadcaster, kind of multitasking. What did you find out about Matthew Montoya, Movesmart's pitcher?
Well, if he comes back up here, well, he's up to bat right now, but if he comes back up to pitch in the 7th inning, he will have gone on a run of 10 strikeouts in his last 20 batters faced. So half of them, and that was all of the batters since he allowed those 2 runs in the top of the 1st.
That's quite the stretch for Matthew Montoya. Movesmart, they got RBIs from Bo Honeycutt and Luke Marcunas, and also they scored one on a wild pitch as well, so there's no RBI there. 1-2 now to Montoya, who struck out twice and reached on an error. Pitch from Campbell is inside. And Moylan just barely hung on to that. Made a big sweeping motion with his arm as he caught it.
And although that base reached on error doesn't sound terribly impressive, that was the moment that kick-started the run for the Movesmart Mariners down there in the middle of the game. Because he made it all the way around, remember?
That's right. Great base running from Montoya. He moved on over to second and then to third. So that meant that the batter behind him in the lineup, Bo Honeycutt, was able to bring him in with a sac fly. And now Montoya faces a 2-2 count inside. And it's now full.
Sun is no longer a factor. It's dropped behind the trees over there to the west.
We got some more people filing in here to ICC. Some of them to watch the next game coming up between Firehouse and Miller Lite. This one hit well into right field, making the run. That's Reed. I think that's the first time he's made a play out there in right today. And that's out number 3. So Jacob Campbell sets down the Mariners in a row. But Brienzo's has a little work to do if they want to pull out their 4th win of the season. Real quick before that, I want to thank all of our great sponsors for tonight's broadcast. Body Armor Sports Drink is the official sports drink of the Peoria Sunday Morning League that comes in a variety of flavors and great refreshing taste. Body Armor Sports Drink is your sports drink of choice. And also by Brienzo's Wood-Fired Pizza. I want to thank them for supporting the Brienzo's Orioles, and also by the Movesmart Group.
Montoya is out there for the 7th.
He's going for the complete game.
And if the last couple of innings have gone to show, this could be a quick couple of outs here to wrap it up for the Mariners. But you never know. That's why we play the game. Montoya's looked really good.
Never know what could happen. Brienzo's is got to get him out of his groove somehow. You know, Movesmart, you look at their stats on the year, they're, not the best team offensively, but they got some pretty good pitchers. And again, Montoya's the only one that we've seen, but they have Sunday Morning League legend Josh Blom in their rotation. He's 5-2 this year with a 2.37 ERA, and in 56 innings pitched has 87 strikeouts. That's quick math, just over 1.5 per inning. So Josh Blom, player to know for Movesmart.
Yeah, we talked about Montoya, who's struck out half of the batters he's faced in the last 6 innings or so, 5 innings or so. Well, Blom's done that all year.
Indeed. Maybe Blom will get the call in Mariners' final regular season game, but this game could. I was about to say could lock up the seed for the Mariners, but not quite sure. I'll have to double check. Campbell swings and misses at strike 2. Mariners sitting in 7th right now, and if the season ended today, they'd be playing the Miller Lite Falcons in the first round of the playoffs. And Campbell looks at strike 3 low, so Orioles manager gets 3 cracks in the batter's box today. Able to come away with a hit, but hey, gotta give him some props for trying getting out there. I don't know how old Tim Campbell is. I'm sure he probably doesn't want us to say how old he is, but certainly one of the more veterans of the Sunday Morning League. Garcia rips it to third. What a catch at the hot corner by Bo Honeycutt. That could have been dangerous. Extra bases. We saw Garcia rip one down the right field line to start this game.
Yeah, that's going to be a what-if right there for Brienzo. That was almost a really bad sign there for Movesmart. But now they're just down to one final out.
And it's up to Garrett, their shortstop. He hits this well into center. On the run and making the grab is Torres. Out there in center field. So that does it. Movesmart hangs on for a big-time win in a thrilling game. Josh, that had us on the edge of our seat.
Yeah, that was pretty fun right there. The Mariners, or Brienzo's got off to the early lead. Mariners were able to fight right back, and then down the stretch it was a game of, well, who's going to blink first? And it turns out that Brienzo's couldn't quite get a run going there towards the end of the game, and that's going to give Movesmart the win.
Mariners winners here tonight. Late season wins always feel good. And on the year, excuse me, I was about to sneeze, but I did not. We'll see what it does. That moves the Mariners to 7-15 on the year. Brienzo's falls to 3-18. So again, just one game left in the regular season for the Orioles, and I believe that should wrap up the regular season for the Mariners. But again, they'll be in the playoffs next week, probably against either Cruzin's, Miller Lite, or Firehouse Pizza. Matthew Montoya, the star player for the Mariners tonight, he goes the distance, 7 innings pitched, only gave up 3 hits, and all of them were in the first inning. Had 11 strikeouts. And I'm going to check his stats. That's probably his best outing of the year. RBIs for Movesmart went to Honeycutt, Marcunas. That helped them pull away with the win. So that about wraps it up from ICC. For all of our hardworking crew at Clutch Sports Media, Josh Messenger, my broadcast partner, and Patrick Huber producing, and Charlie Schimmerhorn behind the camera. I'm Jonathan Michael from Clutch Sports Media saying so long from East Peoria. Mariners are winners in the Sunday Morning League Game of the Week. Stay tuned. See where we're going for our Sunday Morning League playoff games in early August. Until then, so long, folks. Have a good night. Talk to you later.